Hey, traders! Shouting back at you, getting ready to do a little trade review here. It has been, well, roller coaster is the best word to describe it, but it's been a good roller coaster, at least for the most part. In keeping in line with the most transparent trading educator on the internet, I only talk about trades that I post and are time stamped in StockTwits. And here you have it. So I had a hedge on prior to the Bank of Canada meeting. I was long the Euro CAD. I was short the GBP CAD. Now this trade was a whipsaw, needlessly to say, nonetheless. It was just a crazy trade. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I also had another trade on that was the dollar CAD. So these two are my two losers. Let me get these out of the way, and then we can move on to something a little bit more fun. Okay, so the dollar CAD, the Euro CAD, we're just going to go to a 30-minute here. The Euro CAD, as you can see, big whipsaw. I should have held on to it. I do think it's probably going to test this liquidity any second now. We have some oil inventory data coming out in about 2 minutes. We might actually take a live trade together on that. We'll see. And the other trade, which was the GBP CAD, which was the side I was short on, you can see that one ended up being much stronger. So that was why that one ended up with a loss. The dollar CAD, let's watch that right now because we do have oil data coming out in a minute, 2 minutes actually, and we can watch this together. I like the dollar CAD for a bit of a longer term trade. Yesterday, as you know, Paula's came out and they did raise rates in Canada. And you'll see that it was really priced into the market quite a bit. We were up at 129 when they started talking about the possibility of raising rates in Canada again. And, you know, we basically, that was priced in. So yesterday's news, as you can see, when the actual news came out, it ended up in the market doing absolutely nothing. Something that you guys really should learn how to do is learn how to price in whether news results are going to be good or bad. So let's just watch here because there is a potential here of a possible long trade. I like the dollar CAD long back to a retest of 126.21. I just don't know how it's going to get there. And that's why I actually took the trade yesterday long on it, because I do think it's going to retest this 126.27 level. I do think we will test that. But right now, let's just wait for this data. The data's out. And let's take a look at this data here. Let's go here. See how it turned out. Crude oil inventories. Sometimes it's the low. There it is. So 0.69, and you can see that inventories are dropping. So that's going to be bullish for inventories. Yeah, that's right. Inventories are dropping. So that's going to be bullish for the Canadian dollar. It means that the Canadian dollar should get stronger because less oil means higher oil prices, right? So going back to StockTwits, I don't really see any trade here on this other than, like I said, I do like the long side of the dollar CAD. It's just going to be really messy if you're following this and you're looking for a trade. I would prefer for it to come back down to 123.75, where I would be a very aggressive buyer at that level. But I do think that they were actually quite dovish in the speech that Pollard's made. We also have the whole NAFTA thing that's going to come back on the table any minute now, and you know that's going to shoot the dollar. I think 126.23 is in the cards, and I think this is the bottom here. I really do. I think this is the bottom. I'm very bullish long term on the dollar CAD. I think this thing is going to be at 2-to-1 within 5 years, but that's a very longer term perspective, maybe 3 years. Really don't have a lot of faith in the country, and I think the country is going to go into have some very serious problems going forward. That's a whole other story. Okay, so the other trade I want to talk about is I did have another hedge trade on, and it actually ended up working out quite well. So TXN, I was short TXN. So if we go to here, you'll see I had TXN short at 115.10 and long ADI 93.75. So I actually got out of TSN at 117, so there was a loss on that side. However, ADI turned out to be a really big winner, and I ended up making quite a nice profit on that, because as you can see, the ADI side went a lot higher and continues a lot higher today. Now what I actually did was I took off half the trade. I took off the long side of ADI this morning in and around 96.50 area. I should have held it, because look at that sucker go. And I held the naked side on TXN, and that dropped from 120 all the way down to 117. So that trade ended up being a really nice winner after being really ugly for a long time yesterday, but I knew that correlation was going to break down, and also we have earnings coming out, and this big candle yesterday, people are just going to want to lock in profits to not take the earnings risk on that trade. So that was the main reason why that trade was, because I knew earnings were coming out, and this had a big move, and I know that there's a lot of people that will want to lock in profits before those earnings. I think the earnings will probably be fairly good, but I don't see the market moving very much higher. This move is just way too crazy, right? It's up huge this year so far. Okay, so other than that, just a little scalp on the SPY that I shouted out again in StockTwits. I'm going to give you guys some free stuff right now that you can follow as far as StockTwits are concerned. So day trade short here at 279.80, small size with a 31-cent stop. Just a trader, not a bear, just a trader today, and that ended up being quite nice for me. I got the top perfectly, and I got out down here, so nice 50-cent grab. Not a big trade, but a nice trade nonetheless. I want to talk a little bit about what I think the spider's going to do over the next coming days and for the rest of the month. I think the top is in, folks. I don't think it's going to be the start of a bear market by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think we've seen the top at 280.20, and that's pretty much going to be it for now. Probably sideways. I would buy 275 area very aggressively. If we ever got down to 275.42, I would buy 275.42, and I would sell any pops above this high. Not just blindly, obviously. I'd wait for some type of confirmation that that's going to work, but I think we're going to stay range bound for 275 280, and this could be, this could be the true top of the market. I still have to see more data. I don't have enough of the fundamentals out yet to really make that decision, but it does look like we are going to stay pretty range bound for now, and so you can plan your trades accordingly, right? Any options traders out there, hint, hint, hint. Nice range to trade here, 280 to 275. I think the market's probably going to stay in this range for the rest of this month. I don't see too much higher. All the good news is out. All the good news is out. And quite honestly, manufacturing and the economy picked up slightly, jobs picked up slightly, but it really wasn't revolutionary. Plus, we also have earnings season starting right now, and we're not going to really see out of the ballpark profits and earnings season this season. The real test for whether this whole trumpeting thing works or doesn't work is going to come basically after the next quarter earnings season, and how well really next fourth quarter earnings season we'll really know whether or not it was really a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably going to take a full year, but we should start to see some improvements in Q1 next year. So this earnings season is kind of just something that's going to happen, and I think most people will be really interested in the next earnings season that's coming up, and I think that's going to be more on everybody's mind than anything else. So hope you guys like that. There's your little trades that you can watch. Spider's going to stay range bound. I think even if it does pop up, I think it will reject quite hard, and that'll be it. We'll stay in range. Okay, hope you guys like that. Thank you. Remember, if you like my reviews, thumbs up. Thank you. Bye for now.